Craftsman Days are here at Lowe's with big savings on the tools you need. Right now, get a free select tool when you buy the Craftsman V20 2-pack battery kit. Whether it's the backyard, the bathroom, or beyond, Craftsman has the tools to help you power through and get the project done right. Because DIYing is unpredictable, but your tools shouldn't be. Shop Craftsman at Lowe's today. Valid through 6/18 while supplies last. Selection varies by location.
Follow the money. That's what I always say. You always follow the money. Yeah.
This is Follow the Money with Mitch Moss and Pauly Howard on VSiN.
Welcome in. Good to have you on board. Busy hour coming up. We'll get into the NBA playoffs in 15 minutes. Bottom of the hour. Plenty of props across the entire sports betting board tonight. And here we begin talking NHL playoffs as VSiN's very own NHL betting analyst Jonathan Davis joins the program here on the Progressive Guest Line. JD, good afternoon. Thanks for the time today. How are you?
I'm doing great. You know, last night was kind of like just the appetizer for tonight. Tonight's like the steak dinner for the Stanley Cup second round.
Yeah. And by the way, if I take a bite out of the appetizer from last night, I throw it in the garbage and say we're leaving the party already because I don't want to overreact, Jonathan. Yeah. I think we're looking at a sweep here. Oh, maybe a 5-game. I mean, this Florida team, I know they went 7 games, but their A game is an absolute freight train. And for them to go to Carolina and do what they did, a team defense that had been stellar up to this point, 15 saves by Anderson, and he allowed 5 goals overall in the game. I'm blown away by what they did to Carolina last night.
Yeah, it was 4 goals on the first 16 shots for Florida. They only had 20 in the game. So the Hurricanes have yet to give up more than 21 shots, you know, in their last, 6 playoff games.
Oh, yep.
Pretty remarkable.
Yep, that Anderson prop is cashed 6 in a row. Thank you, sir. Yep.
Yeah. Now, I mean, look, Florida out Carolina. They play the same game as Carolina. They wear you down. They try to extract a pound of flesh. They just do it better, and they've got more talent. I think I may have said to you guys before the series started, if Andrei Svechnikov doesn't continue his torrid pace, they're done. He led them, you know, he's got 8 playoff goals. But guys, the 3 of us have as many goals against Bob in our lifetime as Svechnikov does in his 16 games.
He's never scored once against Bob?
Not once.
Wow.
Not once.
So if they're also, quick question here, if they're able to go back-to-back, because ESPN did that story today that Greg Wyshynski teased yesterday, and it was Rantanen. But who's the Conn Smythe winner if it's Florida and they win the Cup again? Because there's some big prices out there because they're so balanced.
Well, you know, look, I think Bob's going to get a lot of praise, and rightfully so. I mean, he's been unbelievable since Game 3 of the Toronto series. I think he stopped like 8 or 9 breakaways in the last 4 or 5 games, including a couple last night. Sam Bennett's the other one, 7 goals for the Florida Panthers, leads the team. He's always been, you know, a big playoff performer. So those are 2 that would stand out for me right now. Or you could just give it to the entire Panthers blue line, you know, guys, which is leads the playoffs in both goals and points. And here's one other thing, a little tip for tomorrow. Here's a play for you. In 3 of the last 4 Florida Panther games, the 4th line has scored a goal. Play them all tomorrow to score. They're all at plus 1,300. All you need to do is have 1 hit.
Oh, wow. Okay.
Not bad.
Would you take a peek at Marchand there at 30 or 35 to 1?
Yeah, I mean, you know, look, quiet last night, other than, you know, Shane Gostisbehere firing the puck at him. But, you know, he led them in round 2 against Toronto. Look, he would, yes, worth a shot. But I think right now Bennett and Bob are the 2 guys. It is interesting, by the way, Shane Gostisbehere did admit after the game that he purposely fired that puck at Marchand. I can't believe we haven't heard about a fine, let alone a suspension.
Yeah, and by the way, another reason why, and I don't want to completely get nuts here, just because it was a great spot for Carolina doesn't mean they were going to win the game. But again, to lose 5-2 and how they were playing, Florida played late Sunday night, and they had no time off. They had to travel and then play at Carolina, and they got absolutely buried when they had plenty of days off. Horrible sign for Carolina, in my opinion.
Well, it's, you know, the whole rest versus rust, it's been, you know, the rest has not been an advantage. I think teams are now like 7-12 off 4 days rest when you've got someone that's not playing on an extensive rest time. So it hasn't worked out in the playoffs whatsoever. It didn't work out for Carolina. They better find a way to win game 2 because guys, like, look, they don't have a lot of the same players that have been there for all 13 games, but this kind of like seems like, the Connor Hellebuck version of, in the East, in the Eastern Conference.
Okay, so the big one tonight, rematch of last season, Edmonton 1-6. You have a great tidbit on the special teams and what didn't happen in that series, and a lot of the games were low scoring, and Skinner was phenomenal down the stretch, and the Edmonton defense was absurd. Do they continue that? I was surprised there was 6.5 at DraftKings on this game yesterday. Walk us through Western Conference Finals and what you think here.
Well, okay, so I think we're starting to see some sixes out there. I would gravitate to over 6. I'd probably gravitate to the first period over. I think we're going to have a bit of rustiness. Both these teams have had extended periods of time off. So I do like both the first period over and the full game over in this one. Look, Dallas has been dominant if they win that first game when starting at home. But even Edmonton in their history, I think they're like 10-3, losing game 1 on the road and then winning a series. Look, Dallas had 5 guys that scored goals for them in round 2. They can't have that. And 7 of their 12 goals came from Mikko Rantanen and Michael Granlund, who had 3, and Granlund's all came in one game. So, they need more offense. And 5 of their goals, by the way, came on the power play. Pete DeBoer put his lines in a blender for this series. We'll see where it goes. And it's Mike Pomp's favorite goalie in net for Dallas. Let's see if Jake Ottinger can outduel Stuart Skinner. Now, Skinner, by the way, guys, as good as he is games 4 through 7, he's polar opposite 1 through 3.
Yes.
He's got a losing record and a goals against average that hovers near 4.
Let's follow the money here on VSiN, the Sports Betting Network. Our guest, Jonathan Davis, VSiN's very own NHL betting analyst. Follow him on X, by the way, at West Coast HKY. Puts out a lot of live bets during the action as well. So I'm looking at your story, and you put up daily stories on the website here at VSiN.com. And one of the bets that you like tonight is Mikko Rantanen over 1.5 points. That pays almost plus 170, and you have 0.2 units on that tonight. What did you find when Rantanen, with his ice time, when it breaks down certain ways?
So when Rantanen plays less than 18 minutes, I think he's got 10 points in the playoffs. He's had 3 games of less than 18 minutes. When it's more than 18 and less than 20, he still puts up multi-point games. I think he had a 4-point game, and he did have a game where he did have nothing. So 5 of the 6 games, 20 minutes or less, he's had multi-point games. The problem is that when he gets over 20 minutes, and he's had a bunch of games that have been in the 23-24 range, he's had 5 of them. He's had 4 of those games without a point and 1 game with 1. So Dallas is going back to 12-6 today, 12 forwards, 6D, and that's really predicated on the fact that their defenseman Miro Heiskanen, felt he wasn't ready to play a full game, for him, 20-plus minutes the last 2 of the Jets series. He's ready to go. They're going to go with the traditional 12 forwards. It should mean that Rantanen can stay, under 20 minutes for this one, and that's why I like him. Look, he's put up great numbers against the Oilers over his career. He had 6 points in 4 games in their last playoff meeting. I like Rantanen for more than, for over 1.5. And I tweeted something out just on the Oilers side, guys. Zach Hyman, who has only got 3 goals in the playoffs, but has 75 hits. It's remarkable. If I could find a place that takes hit props, I'd be on it. Zach Hyman, guys, 8 goals in his last 6 game ones. Twice he scored the first goal of the game.
All right, that's 16, not bad. That's 16-1. Excellent. How about the special teams, which, Dallas didn't score on the special teams the entire series last year. Edmonton's historic penalty kill in that run through the playoffs. The kill's been suspect. It was bad against L.A. And Edmonton, even though they beat VGK, didn't get anything from the power play.
Yeah, I mean, look, I think Dallas is going to – I think they have to find a way to score some power play goals in this series. Like I said, they had 5 against Winnipeg. Their power play's been, I think they're 3rd best in the NHL. They were just behind Carolina going into play yesterday. So, yeah, I think that's critical for them just because they've struggled 5-on-5. I would also look, though, for Jason Robertson to have a good series. He has done very well against the Oilers. He had a hat trick when they met back against the Oilers in March. I think, he's needed some time to get healthy after his injury with the last game of the regular season. Like I said, I think Robertson is good to go, and I like him to score tonight.
Sorry, Mitch. What's the most juice you'll lay? Because Rantanen is a 220 to have a shot on goal in every game. That seems too good to be true. What do you think?
Yeah, I mean, it's realistic to me that he'll have one. I'd have to go back to see how many times he didn't have a shot on goal. Yeah, seems reasonable.
Okay.
Just to get one. But I'm more into the plus money. There's too much plus money out there that I'd want to have to lay minus 220 for something.
What are you looking at for plus money in terms of a series bet? Games overall, like 5.5, over something like that, under maybe if you want to go with the plus money. What are you looking at there?
Yeah, I mean, I'm going to play. I mean, if I played anything, I haven't played anything yet for the series. I would look to, 6 or 7 in this series. I just don't see it going 5. I think that's the safe way to go. I'm probably just, I'm going to go game by game in this series unless, something drastically changes. I'm going to continue to zigzag. I'm going to, but here's another thing I'm going to look at for tonight, guys. And that's I'm going to play both teams on the puck line. I'll play the dog on the reverse puck line. So both teams at minus 1.5, both at plus money. We're continuing to see games be decided by 2 or more goals. So, hey, it's not necessarily you're going to make a huge profit, but, looking at the numbers here, and what are we? We're at 16-10, I think it is, or 17-10, the dog. 17 of the 27 wins by the dog. They've won by 2 or more. The favorite, 30 of their 44 wins, they've won by 2 or more. I think it's worth the plus, just a small plus money wager on both.
Very good information as always. Again, you can read Jonathan's daily write-ups at VSiN.com. Follow him on X. He is at West Coast HKY as well. Puts out a lot of live bets during the action.
Yeah.
Thanks, JD. Enjoy the game tonight.
Always a pleasure, guys. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. And he was on the Progressive guest line.
So they asked the writers and voters, who would they vote for? Rantanen, Conn Smythe, number 1. The other favorites were Anderson before the game, last night, and then McDavid.
Up next, a lot of questions after last night's playoff action and a look at Game 1 tonight. A bench player has killed the Knicks. Find out who with the startling numbers next on VSiN.
For the ones who get it done, the most important part is the one you need now. And the best partner is the one who can deliver. That's why millions of maintenance and repair pros trust Grainger, because we have professional-grade supplies for every industry, even hard-to-find products. And we have same-day pickup and next-day delivery on most orders. But most importantly, we have an unwavering commitment to help keep you up and running. Call, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
This is Follow the Money on VSiN.
Got Game 1 tonight. Pacers and the Knicks. Total earlier today, again, was at 224.5. It touched that number. Knicks at 4.5. And, boy, it continues to come down here throughout the show. Talked about it an hour ago. The total was 222.5. Now, Pauly, more money on the under. DraftKings showing 221 with the total.
I don't agree with it. And I thought yesterday was outrageous, with the 6-point move to the over in the OKC game.
Well, I mean, we still got time left to get to a 6-point move on this game.
That's right. Yep.
Don't know if it's going to get there or not, but...
Do you think the Pacers will control pace? And it will be up and down?
I think the Knicks cannot allow them to control the pace.
I think they will get sucked in to it as well. And run and gun a little bit, and that's Indiana's game plan, and wear you out and take you down, and that's how they expose the Cavs as well.
Well, what's the message here to Brunson? Is it
take the air out of the ball?
We're going. He's like Jalen.
Number 1, yeah.
When we get the rebound or after a make, you're going to get the basketball, and you are going to take 400 dribbles to the other side of the court and take as much time as possible. Do not engage at all with this team. And I did see a great point. I think it was from Zach Cohen on VSiN.com, who said that he actually thinks Carlisle should put a full court trap up to induce them.
Yeah.
Because then there's right?
They're going to pick you up.
You pick them up.
They'll pick them up. They will.
But multiple guys the entire game and force their hand.
Yeah.
All right. So if that's going to happen, then I think...
You also have to do that to wear Brunson out as well. Another reason.
Agreed.
To get the pace you want and to wear him down and make him work. And to take away from his offensive game. They averaged 124 a game in the 3 meetings in the regular season. They had no answer for Cat, who averaged 30 and 12. Yeah. I mentioned earlier I like his 3-point prop under because he was 3 of 19 in the Boston series. But they think he's going to have a big series and a reason why the Knicks can win this. But I'm all about Indiana with their depth and with how many guys can score and beat you and how many guys can play. And the biggest takeaway, again, I have is that their starting five has a plus 22 net rating in the playoffs. The Knicks starting five has been outscored. So with that, how they took out the Cavs, and they're 42 and 16 since January 1st and 48 and 19 since December 8th. I think the Pacers are the better team, and the money on the Knicks is, I think, a bad bet.
To your point, with the depth, it can come from 7, 8, 9 different guys for Indiana, one of which would be Benedict Mathurin, talented to the moon. His prop 10.5 opened up even money at DraftKings last night. Dan Karpuk wrote about it at VSiN.com. He bet that, and also 20-plus points at 7-1. Here are some of the numbers from Mathurin. Against the Knicks on the year, he averaged 25.3 points per game. That's a great bar bet. If you're out tonight before the game starts, hey, I got one for you. Guess which player averaged 25.3 points per game against the Knicks in the regular season?
Yeah.
The person who you're betting will get 6 guys before they get to Mathurin.
Yep.
He scored, in order, 20, 38, and 18 points against this team. The average is 19.8 points per game in 9 career games against the Knicks. That includes the playoffs from last year. And 20-plus points in 3 of 4 games at the Garden overall. I had to bet it. I bet it over 10.5. I didn't get even money. Didn't find that number. The best I could do was minus 110. That's what I bet with him. And he also shot 61% against the Knicks this year in the regular season. He went off.
Yeah. In your opinion, how good are the Knicks? Yeah, I know they're 4 wins away from going to the finals in the 25-year drought, but we have over 100-game sample size here.
I think they're a nice basketball team. I would say that.
Yeah. So the Pistons, you could have said they blew that series and lost the close games, but they were right there with them. Most people thought the Knicks would have no problems. It was anything but, and they lost 2 games at home. The home game they did win was when they hit them with the 20-0 run in the fourth quarter. They went 0-10 this year in the regular season against the Cavs, Celtics, and Thunder, and the average margin of victory for the opponents was 16 points. For a top 3 seed to go 0-10, that hadn't happened since 1984. Yeah. Okay? And then Boston blows a 20-point lead in the first 2 games and blows a 15-point lead in the other loss.
That's right.
So it's still hard about how good is this team, and do you really trust them, even though, yes, they beat Boston. They were awesome in Game 6, but Boston didn't have their best player, and they couldn't hold a 20-point lead at home late in the third quarter, which I couldn't believe.
Well, I'll tell you what. Okay, so if the series before this would have broken a different way for the Pacers, let's say they lost a 7-game series to the Cavaliers, and now Cleveland was pretty much healthy, right? Garland was back, and none of those other guys that got banged up were going to be gone. They were all going to be, it's a full complement of Cavaliers players. Cleveland would be a gargantuan favorite in this series to beat the Knicks. Now, I could be wrong on this. I thought Oklahoma City was going to take out Denver in 5 games.
So did I.
I was wrong on that. So crazy things happen in the playoffs. Also, upsets happen, right? And things don't go the way that you envision them all the time. I don't think the Knicks would last very long against a healthy Cavaliers team. But I also thought the same thing against the Celtics. I thought it was a 5-game series. It should have been.
It should have been.
Boston has nobody to blame but themselves.
Yeah.
But that's not the way it played out. And the way the games did eventually go, and the results, don't lie. Eventually, the Knicks came back and overcame those 20-point deficits or 15-point deficits to win against Boston. And also the Tatum injury probably didn't hurt either. So overall, I would say that they're, again, a nice basketball team. Are they better than the Celtics just because they beat them in a 6-game series? No. Are they better than the Cavaliers that are when they're fully healthy? No. Even if they beat the Pacers, does that mean they're better than them? Not necessarily. The best team doesn't always win the championship. Hello, 2007 Patriots. Hello, 1991 UNLV basketball. You can make up 100 examples of that over time where the best team doesn't always win. And certainly I would say that a bunch of teams in the West are probably better than the Knicks as well. But you know what? Here they are in the Final Four. And they're a $1.65 favorite at some spots to win this thing? So yep. I do think the series price is...
Yeah, well,
way too high.
I see a lot of guys, and maybe some of them, the fanboys got the jerseys on, not objective, but a lot of guys on this network, and a lot of guests say Pacers in 5, Pacers in 6, that they're going to take them out, and it's a bad matchup for the Knicks. But regardless, it's going to be rocking tonight. It's great with the Knicks fans that they're here, and 25 years. Ridiculous. And what, again, what they had to go through were those lousy teams and the Isaiah Thomas crap, and what is Dolan doing, and to sell the team chance and throwing Oakley out, how bad it was from a PR standpoint. And then getting Rose and getting even Phil Jackson was a rough stint as well. So for them to finally get here and do this with a likable team, it started last year as well, great for the league. Now, as far as props, some of these, it's like, can you find one? You found Hart at 5-1. That's for most rebounds.
In the series, yeah.
In the series. Brunson is minus 750 to lead in points.
Oh, man.
Cat's 4-1, Halliburton's 20. For threes, Halliburton's plus 250, Brunson in the same range. I don't mind OG plus 550, and Bridges 9-1, Cat 10-1. Rebounds, that's where you got your Cat 5-1, Hart 5-1, Cat's minus $9. Robinson's 30, Siakam's 60. Assists, Halliburton's minus 230, Brunson plus 240. And then you're getting some big prices there as well.
I'm guessing some books also offer, well, I know they will because they did last night for the Western Conference, they'll offer most rebounds for the game tonight. I thought that was going to be readily available here in Las Vegas. I can't find it, but Naz Reid was 125-1 last night. He led in rebounds for most of the game.
Who are you looking for tonight?
I would go.
Siakam's 12, Turner's 15.
You have most rebounds for tonight?
Yes.
Well, what do you have Josh Hart at?
I think it's 3-1. Let me grab it.
Okay. I was hoping for maybe a little bit better than number than that. What's Cat then? He's got to be, if he's 9.
Okay, Hart's plus 250, Cat's minus 120.
Okay.
And again, Cat just was a beast on the boards.
Killed him.
Siakam 15, Turner now 17, Nesmith 35, Halliburton 55.
I don't think I want to bet on anybody on the Pacers. It'll be too spread out.
Okay. Hart 6-1, most assists. I don't mind OG, most threes at 6-1 as well. He's our lawyer. He's the man, Al Lasso. You ever been injured in Nevada in a car crash, a slip and fall, or because someone else was careless? In moments like that, what you do next really matters. Al won the largest verdict in the United States in a slip and fall. That's why you need Lasso Injury Law in Vegas, not your typical personal injury firm. They're a boutique law office that gives you one-on-one attention. At Lasso Injury Law, you're not just a case number. You're a real person with a real story, and they'll fight for you. Al started this firm for a reason. Remember when he was in studio, he told the story of his own brother who was disabled in a serious crash, and Al saw firsthand how the system can fail victims. He changed everything, left his business, went to law school, dedicated his life to helping people just like you. With over 20 years of experience and millions recovered, Al and his team bring passion and purpose to every case, whether you're local or coming from out of state. Al puts it simply. When someone's been hurt, they don't need excuses. They need answers, support, and results. Call 702-625-8777. Free consultation. You won't get voicemail. You get a team that's ready to help. 702-625-8777. Lasso Injury Law, built on purpose, driven by results. He'll fight for you. Go get him, Al. LassoInjuryLaw.com.
First-hand experience, I can tell you from Al helping me out several years ago after a severe car crash. If you ever have that notion in your head, like, I don't want to deal with a lawyer, they're a little bit sleazy, easy, exact opposite. Total pro and an awesome human being. We'll get into a plethora of props tonight across the board here on VSiN.
Damn.
This is Follow the Money on VSiN.
Time now for your daily look at a plethora of props for tonight's betting board. In Major League Baseball, good conditions tonight. Sutter Health Park in Sacramento, 4 batters, and Yoan Moncada versus J.P. Spears in his career. Only 4 at-bats, 3 hits, all 3 hits for a home run. How about that? Having a pretty good season for the Halos, and you brought this up a little bit earlier. 4 players for the Padres have good numbers against Kevin Gausman. Machado is 6-20 with 2 home runs. Tatis is 8-17 with 2 home runs and a double. Bogarts is 17-54 with 2 doubles and a home run. And Arise is 7-9. 778 batting average there, Pauly, with 6 singles and a double. I don't know, maybe a first 5 Padres team total over here?
That's not a bad angle.
With those 4 guys, maybe that's a team prop more than a player prop, obviously.
Mm-hmm. And the Tatis stuff's a little inflated, too.
Yeah, most of these home run props now.
Yeah, I'm talking total bases and hits too.
Yeah.
I mean that's. But I don't mind Tatis props, and if you want to attack it that way, that's fine as well. They got to break out of this. They're playing bad ball right now.
I know. I will say that it's the best Aaron Judge home run number I think I've seen all year long.
Yeah, right.
It's plus 310 at the highest that I've seen. There's a reason for that. He's facing Jacob deGrom tonight.
Mm-hmm.
Also, Ohtani's number is actually kind of decent. He's facing Corbin Burns. So obviously that's going to be a big reason why. What do you like in baseball tonight? Was there anything a lot? It's a weird card because you had a bunch of morning games and.
Well, there's so many ways to why to state your case and why to like Boston. Crochet going against McGill. McGill's been awful for the Mets. ERA of 7 going back the last few starts. Mets are not hitting. They've lost 6 of 10. The offense has been dreadful. 8 runs in the last 6 games. Shut out twice. Shut out last night. Alonso's in a funk, and Soto's not hitting at all either. And I think Lindor's in a bad run, too. So, $1.45 seems cheap with Boston.
There was a stretch where, when we were talking about those total bases every single day with guys like Freeman, Witt, they were on fire. We got an email on that at ftm@vsin.com when the Mets were actually playing quite well.
Polar Bear?
They were looking at Polar Bear, Soto, and Lindor every game for total bases, and they were coming in.
Yeah.
But they have hit a serious dry spell now here.
Mm-hmm.
And they're good against lefties, but they're taking on one of the best tonight in Crochet as a lefty.
Yeah. It was one of those days. It was one of those days where just they didn't have a lot of great stuff in terms of props. Number one, so many day games, and then nothing jumped off the page other than the Tatis stuff.
Yeah.
From the number standpoint and owning a picture.
So I bet Hunter Brown today over 6.5 Ks, which was a loser. And I laid 37 cents on that. All of the numbers against the Rays and what kind of form they were in against righties and how Brown has been trending so high pretty much the entire year, it made sense. The one thing I did not factor enough into the equation was it was 90-plus degrees today, and the ballpark conditions screamed to be homer-friendly. And I saw that, and I knew that, and I still made the bet. That was a major mistake. Now, will it play out like that every single time? Maybe not, but 90 degrees is a guy who's going to go out there and throw between 80 and 100 pitches. It can wear on him quickly, and he just didn't have it today. I would say that if it was like a neutral ballpark state today, I would have loved the bet. I still should not have made the bet. That was a mistake I made, and I'll tie that into another one for tonight because Sears is going for the A's against the Angels. Sears is a lefty. The Angels against lefties on the season, they're dead last in batting average, and it's 193, by the way. They're the third worst team with OPS, third worst WRC plus, and second worst weighted on base. Left-handed starters, small sample size, are 5-1 over their K prop. The only player or pitcher to go under their K prop as a lefty this year was Clayton Kershaw in his first start back. He only struck out 2. The prop was 3.5. Sears' prop is 4.5 over about plus 115. He is not a high strikeout pitcher, about 7 per 9 innings. This year, he's had 4 games with exactly 2 strikeouts. He had a game with 4, another game with 5, and 3 games with 7. 2 of those came against the Rangers. 2 of the better performances did, and the Rangers are also a team not good against lefties, and they strike out quite a bit. So I think that'd be the easiest comp. I want to make a case and bet him over 4.5 and to ladder him tonight. But will the ballpark conditions here, it's going to be high 80s again, or in the 80s, and it says basically the ball could be flying out tonight. Do you make the bet, or I got burned by Brown doing the same thing earlier today and stay away? I think if it was a neutral ballpark condition tonight, I would be all over Sears in this game.
Yeah. Give it a shot. Why not? I did like Baldwin props, but that game was postponed. Atlanta and Washington.
Okay.
Anything in hockey. I think the Rantanen looks fantastic. Minus 220 to have a shot on goal in every game.
Yeah, that seems almost too good to be true, too easy, right? I mean, how?
Yep, and DraftKings offers everything imaginable, even will a goalie score, which they have.
That's right. We're doing that game by game.
Yeah, it's 300 to 1 will a goalie score. So, and then you got 8 to 1 with a shutout as well. But they have that. I played under 6.5 in this game. Sorry, got game 1 wrong yesterday, but I was shocked by what happened with because Anderson's been so good and Carolina's been so good they give up 5, but 6.5 I think is too high, and that's how it played out last year in the conference finals. These were low-scoring games, And again, Dallas went 0 for 14 on the power play. Edmonton was fantastic with that kill, and Edmonton's power play has struggled in the playoffs. So maybe Skinner keeps this going, and we see some low-scoring games. And I'm talking what you need, too, like 2-1 to get that 300-1 ticket as well. And I disagree with Mike. I am an Ottinger fan, and he has done a heck of a job here, and this is their third straight trip to the conference finals, and we'll see if DeBoer can get it done as well. I think fifth most wins ever for a coach without a cup. You know what happens if it goes 7, if they get that game 7 as well.
Did you bet the series at all?
No, I don't know. No, nothing. I don't know what to do with game 1 or the series. So I'm going to let it play out, see how it goes. Everyone has counted out Dallas here. And here they are, right? But a lot of people probably picked them against Winnipeg because it was anti-Winnipeg with what happened with Hellebuck on the road and going 7 with St. Louis. But they were solid defensively. They did a great job against Winnipeg, and they were down 2 good players and lost 6-1 in game 1 against Colorado and somehow won that series.
They're a very good hockey team, top to bottom. I have nothing on the series, and I do not have anything in terms of a future. I'm a little fearful here, right? The FOMO overall of not having anything on the Oilers in case they do win the whole thing. And
don't beat yourself up. It was so bad, though. They were so bad in the first 2 games against LA.
I'm saying now, right? To bet them right now, because a lot of times there are steps that a team has to take. We saw that, in fact, with the team that they lost to last year. Florida got embarrassed by the Golden Knights 2 years ago. They came back, redeemed themselves, and won it. And then last year, Edmonton getting blown out in the series, came back, won 7 games, almost won it, did not. And sometimes that has to happen. Eventually, like the best of the best break through and they win the whole thing. We're probably watching that right now with Oklahoma City. And they were awesome last year. But there's a step to this whole thing. There's a foundation that has to be built. And maybe this is going to be their year. And the same thing I think might be able to be said for Edmonton too. And I can't bet against them right now because I'm going to hate myself if I lose.
All right. I'd feel better if they had home ice. But
I get that.
You got that too. WNBA, 3 games tonight. All tickets cashed the same.
Mm-hmm.
Kelsey Plum, points prop for LA, 22.5. She had the most points ever in a debut with a new team. And what she did, her first game out, I would look at that. And
she also had 5 threes in that first game.
Yeah, and something to prove. And again, Washington is surprising people, averaging 90 a game, and they're taking on the new team, Golden State, that's supposed to play up-tempo. So that totals 162. I think that could go over as well. Keep an eye on that Washington team from a total standpoint.
This is also, I think, a pretty good nugget to file away with Plum. She played 40 minutes every single second of the first game.
Okay.
She came out against Minnesota after the first 15 minutes were played in game number 2. Her coach said, this was the quote after the game, Plum told me after that happened, like, hey, I can play 40. Take me out if I'm doing something wrong, but don't take me out because you think I'm tired.
Oh.
Kelsey's fitness and strength and conditioning is otherworldly. I know she can play all 40 minutes. So that's something to that you want, right? When you're betting positive outcomes here.
And she couldn't be that aggressive because of the talent they had with the Aces.
That's true.
Here it's more you're on a bad team and we count on you. We need you to score.
I looked at laddering her threes tonight. The 5+ is plus 225. You can get absolutely nuts and go to 7 or 8.
Okay.
7+ is plus 1060. She does have, last year I think it was, she had a game where she made 7 threes. I'm also looking at laddering Collier's rebounding props tonight against Dallas.
They're terrible.
They're bad. They're bad. I've not done that yet, but if you go, and Dallas is a different team, but if you go back to last year, Collier killed this team on the glass.
And it's already out because Indiana plays Atlanta again tomorrow. Caitlin Clark opens 9.5 assists.
Oh, what's the juice?
$1.40. Got to go Clark over 9.5 assists tomorrow. Get the G-Bank Visa Signature Card today. Most credit card street sportsbooks gave me transactions and cash advances. That's even when you put your own money on the card. G-Bank treats it as purchases. So you're saving up to 3 to 5% on cash advance fees right there. Apply now, VSiN.com/GBank. We love it. VSiN.com/GBank.
Up next, the numbers suggest he's back to his old self, so that probably means he's worth a bet.
For the ones who get it done, the most important part is the one you need now. And the best partner is the one who can deliver. That's why millions of maintenance and repair pros trust Grainger, because we have professional-grade supplies for every industry, even hard-to-find products. And we have same-day pickup and next-day delivery on most orders. But most importantly, we have an unwavering commitment to help keep you up and running. Call, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
This is Follow the Money on VSiN.
Pauly, coming up in 15 minutes. Professional sports bettor Paul Stone's going to join the program. DraftKings released week 0 and week 1 numbers for college football. Paul's got a bunch of bets for week 1 and also a couple of win totals to give out. Can't wait to hear what he likes at that time. Here's who I was talking about before we hit the break there. When I said number suggests that he's back, so that probably means that he's worth a bet. Rangers take on the Yankees tonight, Yankee Stadium. Jacob deGrom in his last start against the Astros, 8 innings, 5 hits, 1 walk, 7 Ks. His last 5 starts, a 1.53 ERA, 2.14 with the FIP, sub-1 whip, 29.5% K rate, swinging strike rate at 15.6%. Like, these are all elite, almost like Jacob deGrom numbers from 3-4 years ago during his peak years, or prime, I should say. I laid 30 cents for him in the first 5. You might want to say, well, how about the under there, buckaroo? Because the Rangers against lefties, they're like bottom 10 in the league in almost every major category.
And it's cold.
Yeah.
Our guy, Richie, just told us they're selling mittens outside Fenway. I mean, it's 13-mile-per-hour winds and 45 degrees, and you saw what happened last night, too. It's bad. It's cold in Minnesota, cold there. It'll be rough. And that's another reason probably for the under, too. But each his own.
So I guess maybe I can add the under, but I think that might be on the move a little bit as well with the first 5. But I got to do it.
Okay.
I mean, I know it's this Yankees lineup, but deGrom, 3 years ago again, he would have been way higher than this against any offense in baseball probably.
Got to take the Phillies, too. Number 1, why so low? Why only $2? Why in Colorado 8-40? You know the Phillies are going to hit. And this is getting juicy now with the most wins in May. Twins are losing the second game of the doubleheader. They won the first game, and the Tigers won again. So this is right there now. Great race with Detroit, Philly, and Minnesota for most wins in May.
Yeah, so they're sitting at about 205 right now in this game. So money's on the Rockies here. Down to $2. Every time we bring it up here at Circa, more money yet on the Rockies.
Yeah.
The Phillies were just 205 like a half an hour ago, not even. Now they're minus $2. The Rockies are 8-40 on the year.
Yeah. I mean, how many runs are they going to give? That's the other thing. How many runs are the Phillies going to score? In Colorado, 24 times has been held to 2 runs or fewer. Okay, it's Walker. He hasn't been that bad.
Yeah, I would assume at this ballpark against this dreadful team with this elite offense, by the way, against lefties, that's a part of the equation tonight as well. The Phillies against lefties are number 1 overall in baseball with batting average. They are 4th in OPS, 4th in WRC+, 4th in WOBA, and 5th in slugging. What, this kid Palmquist is going to shut down their offense tonight all of a sudden? I don't see it happening.
Yeah. With the win, Detroit improves to 33-17. The last time they had records like that, and then the best record in the AL after 50 games, they won the American League.
That had to be the Justin Verlander time.
At that. And right? That 84 team, that was so good. What were they, 35-5, something like that, what their start was? So I don't think you're overreacting to what happened last night in Carolina. And I still think, Florida minus 240 to win the series looks good. To take them apart like that, and you got to come back with the Anderson prop too, under 23.5 saves. It's 6 in a row. But how they lit him up and then 2 goals on the power play to win that game and score 5 goals, and yet they went 15 minutes without a shot. It's got to be scary. And you already blow home ice if you're Carolina. But I think we're getting a little bit carried away with what happened in OKC, though, because Minnesota missed a ton of wide open shots. For whatever reason, they weren't aggressive and only took 13 shots, 1 in the paint, and then they were sloppy with the ball. So too many turnovers, too many threes, 51 threes. OKC was great in the second half, but now you're seeing OKC as high as minus 250 to win the title and $7 adjusted series price. They were in trouble at halftime because they were only up 4 and it should have been a double-digit lead. SGA was 2 of 13 and Randall went off as well. But I think you're going to get a better performance. You better in Game 2. Finch will figure it out, get more touches for Randall, and do a better job with the threes as DiVincenzo, Nas, Walker, those guys were terrible, and 4 for 24. So the 11 of 39 on open threes will not happen, and I don't think OKC will go 10 of 16 again, which was the case.
That's the thing, right? Because you can get open threes against this Oklahoma City defense. It's a very good defense.
Yeah, they pack the paint, yeah.
Sure. It's very difficult to do that, get down low, and they just don't have the guys down low to exploit that. Like a Rudy Gobert, as I thought before the series started, is going to be potentially useless in offense. Well,
I can't stand
he defined the word last night.
I mean, he can't even get a tip in. He can't even get the rebound, gather, and go up and score. He's so
uncoordinated on offense, and he can't dribble. He can't catch the ball. He has no skill on offense at all. So he was going to have to be Hakeem Olajuwon in the series defensively to be out there on the court. And so
that's one change. You can sit him if you're Finch. That's one.
But here's the thing, right? With those open threes, like that Minnesota will take those threes. And 11 to 39 on open, as you said, wide open threes, which means basically a defender's not even close to the shooter. They were 8 of 30. That's 27%. Oklahoma City was 10 of 13. Now, I want to sit here and tell you, like, they're going to continue to get those shots because you can against Oklahoma City, and they're going to knock them down. But I don't know, because this stuff can be streaky, like I pointed out earlier. P.J. Washington is a career 35 to 36% three-point shooter. Last year, in this series against Oklahoma City, he shot 47% from downtown. In the next series against Minnesota, he shot 25%, and in the finals against Boston, he shot 27%. So I don't know how he bottled that up, but he did. And I'll tie that into what's going so poorly right now for Minnesota. DiVincenzo and Alexander Walker are 29 for 111 in the playoffs. That is 26%. And I believe the number on DiVincenzo was 39.7% in the regular season. Like, they have to knock down these shots.
Yep.
And if they continue to get them, they should. But this thing now in the playoffs is just bonkers, man, with how bad it's been.
And also, don't shrug your shoulders and say, they're packing the paint. There's nothing I can do. And that's what Ant did. Only one shot in the paint. And he only had 13 for the game, which was weird. So we're back to this about, not stepping up and being aggressive. So I look for a different performance and outcome tomorrow. But the other takeaway could be maybe we're getting that AA game and the team that ran through the league and won 68 games.
Oh, we got that in the second half for sure.
Right, and we got that against Denver too. I don't know why we didn't see it other than Game 2 at home against Denver. I was very disappointed. I was disappointed with how they played against Memphis. You're down 30, and you couldn't bury them, and you had problems putting them away without Ja in Game 4. But this defense is all-time good.
Mm-hmm.
So they can harass you and how good they are defensively and with the rebounds. Maybe it's just like you said a couple weeks ago that we're going to go back and kick ourselves that it wasn't. But they didn't prove it against Denver. And it was to the point where I'm like, at some point you have to lower their power rating. They can't be laying 8, 9, 10 in these games, and how they struggled on the road against Denver as well. So
yeah, I thought the best thing going for the Thunder last night, again, is that, and you just brought it up, the fact that they had 44 points at halftime. They're lucky to have 44 points last night at halftime. They could have had like 36 at halftime.
Some of the bogus calls. Yeah.
And oh, by the way, I tweeted this out 4.5 minutes in, and I like this Oklahoma City team, and I like SGA. He won MVP earlier today. They finally announced it. I mean, going back to last year, you know this. I was on them at huge numbers to win the West and to win the title. I loved them. But the whistle that they got in the first 4.5 minutes to me was disgusting.
Yep.
And that it continued throughout the game for SGA.
Mm-hmm.
But I'm like that as a basketball guy. I hate it when calls go one way, specifically when the playoffs have been a football game for most teams, but then one guy's going to get away with this herky-jerky crap, and he's out there looking for fouls, and that drives me insane.
And he's initiating the contact.
Most times, yes.
That's what gets me. That's why it's garbage, and why it ticked off a lot of people, and then it blew up on social media when Doris Burke called him a free throw merchant.
Right.
And at least quoting NBA Twitter, whatever she said.
So I'd like to know right now how they're going to call Game 2, because if that's going to continue,
Minnesota was livid.
Sure, if that continues, Oklahoma City will win, and they'll beat them probably up by 10, 15 points, maybe more. If it doesn't continue, then we might have a series.
Mm-hmm. And McDaniel's in foul trouble, and that's a recipe for disaster. Start your day with an edge and a game plan. The VSiN Daily Morning Bets podcast, your first look at the day's lines, sharp action, and market movement. In just 15 minutes, you'll get everything you need to know to make smarter wagers and stay ahead of the line moves, all before your morning's coffee's gone. Hosted by the team of trusted experts, the Daily Morning Bets podcast is fast, focused, and built for bettors like you. Listen to the VSiN Daily Morning Bets podcast wherever you get your podcasts, or get on the VSiN Watch app. Get it today. Sharpest way to start your betting day.
It's never too late, Pauly. You're 48 years old. Start drinking coffee.
Oh, no.
I can't believe that you never did during the morning show.
Oh, no. No way.
Oh, you just want the straight Coke.
Yeah, all about the Coke.
Coca-Cola.
Coffee.
Yeah.
Coffee doesn't agree with me.
It doesn't. Oh, you okay?
It
all
does
right.
not.
Pro Better. Paul Stone on the program coming up next. DraftKings released point spreads for Week 0 and Week 1. He has some bets and some win totals. Find out what they are next here on VSiN.
If your job at a healthcare facility includes disinfecting against viruses, you know prevention is the best medicine. And maintaining healthy spaces starts with a healthy cleaning routine. Grainger's world-class supply chain helps ensure you have the quality products you need when you need them. From disinfectants and cleaning supplies to personal protective equipment, so you can help deliver a clean bill of health. Call 1-800-GRAINGER, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.